Welcome to this lesson on finding the surface area of triangular prisms. Please make sure you have these notes in front of you so we can begin our lesson. The learning objective for today says I can find the surface area of triangular prisms. So let's go ahead and zoom in and talk about the key concepts. We're going to talk about surface area for today. And surface area is the area of all the faces of a three-dimensional figure. Now today what we're going to talk about is the surface area of a triangular prism. So here's a triangular prism. What we can think about is unwrapping the triangular prism to make a 2D object. So we can make it into a net. So a net is when you take a 3D object and you unwrap it to get a flat surface. Notice when I unwrap this, I have two triangles. And that would be called the base of your triangular prism. And I've got three faces. I've got three faces in between it, and then when I wrap that up, I can get a triangular prism. So to find the surface area of a triangular prism, the easiest thing to do is to ask yourself, or to draw all the different sides of a triangular prism. So I'm going to write, the first thing we should do is draw a net of the triangular prism. And then find the area of each face or each base. Then once you do that, add up all the areas. So once you draw your net first, find the area of all the faces and add them up, you will get your surface area. And remember, since surface area is still talking about area, our units will be to the second power. So let's use these key concepts to discuss the following examples. For example, when it says find the surface area of the triangular prism. So here's the three-dimensional figure that we call the triangular prism. And what we've done is we've unwrapped it and we've given you the net of the triangular prism. So we've unfolded it, and notice we have three rectangles and we have two triangles. So let's go ahead and find the area of the different shapes and combine them. So to find the area of a triangle, I'm going to use the formula area is equal to base times height divided by 2. Now let's take a look at the information. We don't know the area, but we do know the base. The base would be worth 1 centimeter. So 1 times our height, which is 9/10. So times 9/10 divided by 2. So when I do the math, 1 times 9/10 would be 9/10. So let's cut 9/10 in half. So 9/10 times 2 would become 45/100. Before we find the area of the rectangles, let's make sure we label our units. The area of the triangle should have been 45/100 centimeters squared. Alright, so finding the area of the rectangle, I'm going to use area is equal to base times height. And I know that the base of it would be 1 centimeters and the height of it would be 2 centimeters. So area is equal to 1 times 2. And the area of one rectangle would equal to 2 centimeters squared. So what I'm going to do is, now that I know the area of the different parts, I'm going to go ahead and add them up. So I'm going to write 45/100 plus 45/100. Now the reason why I'm doing that twice is because I have two triangles. Here's one triangle, here's the second triangle. Plus 2, here's the first rectangle. Plus another 2, here's the second rectangle. Plus another 2, here's the third rectangle. So that's why I'm adding it 3 times. So after adding these numbers together, I get 6 and 9/10 centimeters squared. Now that's the surface area of the triangular prism, or the surface area of this tent. So pause the video, complete this guided problem, and we'll discuss the answer in class tomorrow. For example 2, it says find the surface area of the triangular prism. So here's the triangular prism that they're giving us. The difference is now that we don't have a net, but what we can do is we can try to draw one out. So if I'm looking at this shape, I know that the base of this the triangular prism would be a triangle. So I'm going to draw one triangle here. And I'm going to draw the same exact one, because if the bottom is a triangle, then the top would be the same exact triangle. I know that the side would be 8 centimeters, or 8 meters. And I know that the base would be 15 meters. So let's go ahead and find the area of the triangle. Area is equal to base times height divided by 2. Area is equal to 8 times 15 divided by 2. So let's go ahead and do the math. 8 times 15 is equal to 120. So let's divide 120 by 2. So the area of one triangle is equal to 60 meters squared. So the area of one triangle is 60 meters squared. So if the top is 60 meters squared, then the bottom also has to be 60 meters squared. The next part of the net I'm going to draw is the top surface. I know it's going to be a rectangle, and I know that one length of it is 17 meters, and I know the other length of it would be 20 meters. So let's find the area of that. Area is equal to base times height. So the base would be 17 and the height would be 20. So when I do the math, I get 340 meters squared. So 340 meters squared is the area of the top portion. Now I'm going to have to do the shape for the bottom portion, and I know that that is another rectangle. And if the length is 15 meters down here, and the height will be 20 meters. Let's go ahead and plug it into the formula. Area is equal to base times height. Now I'm going to say area is equal to 15 times 20. When I do the math, 15 times 20 gets me 300 meters squared. So the area of this other rectangle is 300 meters squared. Okay, I've got one more to do. I've got another rectangle on this side. So that rectangle has a height of 8 meters, and it has a length of 20 meters. So let's plug it into the formula. Area is equal to base times height. So my area is equal to 8 times 20. When I do the math, 8 times 20 gets me 160 meters squared. So the area of this side rectangle is 160 meters squared. Alright, so to find the surface area, let's go ahead and add up all the areas for the sides that we figured. For the triangles, I'm going to write 120. Because all I did was I took 60 and I multiplied it by 2, so 120 plus 340, that's for this rectangle here, plus another 300 for this rectangle here, plus another 160 for that rectangle down here. When I add them all up, the surface area becomes 920 meters squared. So pause the video, complete this guided problem, and we'll discuss the answer in class tomorrow. So now that we've completed this lesson, go ahead and self-rate yourself and let us know how you feel. If there's any part of this lesson that you do not understand, please go back and watch it again. Also come to class with some questions so we can discuss it in further detail.